Former Finance Minister Tito Mboweni will be laid to rest this Saturday. He died in a Johannesburg hospital following a short illness at the weekend. And now our business reporter Ntokozo Khumalo is in Magoebaskloof to understand the kind of legacy the Duke of Magoebaskloof left for the community there. And Ntokozo, good morning. We want to talk about his formative years as the country continues to reflect on his background, his origins, and the impact that he made on South Africa's finance and economic landscape. Tell us more.
Good morning, Iman. Well, where we are right now is outside the Trout Water Farm. We're closer to his neighbors, but if my colleague Morena will show you in a little bit just where he spent his last days. Today it's a rather cloudy, chilly day, and we've been, as people seeing our cameras come out, asking us, are we here for Tito Mboweni, and coming to share some of their stories of him as we're walking past here. So caretakers of the farms right here, and his farm, of course, Trout Water Farm, is where he did spend those last days of his retirement. Where he grew up is where we are going to be spending most of our day today, Iman. We're going to head out to his old primary school, that's Bordeaux Primary School, as well as go to his high school to really understand Tito Mboweni as a young boy and his formative years and where he really grew that knack for economics and economic development. And of course, yesterday, just touching base on some of the things that he spent his time on those last few days, cooking being one of them. So down the road is where that Blueberry Heights farm is, where he spent quite a lot of his time there. So we've been really engaging with the community. But as you rightfully said, we will then be looking back into his life as a young man. But yesterday I was also at the University of Limpopo, where I spoke there to Victor, who just gave us some insights into the contribution that former Finance Minister Tito Mboweni continued to make in this community, passionate about rural development, this community quite rural, abundant with land, that he really tried to promote, especially black entrepreneurs to take on the opportunities to turn the land into working land. So let's take a listen to what University of Limpopo, remembered Tito Mboweni as, and he did deliver a keynote address at the university a few weeks ago. Let's take a listen.
As a teacher, he looks like the kind of child I would have loved to teach, because he's that child who's intelligent, obviously, no question about that. But intelligence without charisma, without character, without personality will mean nothing. So he's always that. He studied economics, which is one of my favorite.
And right here at the university.
And economic literacy is something that he was always big on. If you listen to him argue, he would always be frustrated by the lack of depth. So he loved debate. He loved to argue. But he wanted to argue with someone who at least could understand the basics. And I felt from time to time when he had a debate, he will end up being almost preachy or teaching people rather than having an argument, which is not what I think he went out to do, but because he wanted to gain insight. Remember, this man was the labor minister. He was part of the negotiation. He was the deputy head of economic policy at the ANC. So from the days of the ANC in exile, and even the days of him as a student here in 1979, 1980, going into Lesotho, but coming back and becoming the finance minister, becoming the governor of the Reserve Bank, his footprint or his fingerprint on the economic landscape of the country and the financial landscape will never be removed, because he was part of the growing edge of society. So every time South Africa was changing, when he was a student, it was changing from apartheid to free. When it was free, he was changing from the legacy of apartheid into a new legacy. When people were talking about, do we go left, do we go right, he was part of the mixed economy policy.
So Iman, aside from then getting to know Tito Mboweni as a young man growing up here in the Tzaneen area, we'll also be speaking to some black business owners in this community who say they, have to harass Tito Mboweni to get some of his time, just to get a little bit of mentorship from him on how to really grow their businesses in this community. So we'll be hearing from businesses that bottle water. We'll be hearing from businesses that, brew their own beers locally. Actually, again, down the road, another business that Tito Mboweni was punting on his social media pages. So just to really understand the kind of, information and knowledge that Tito Mboweni was also passing on to them about how to grow their businesses, how to take care of their staff, as well as how to ensure that the economy here does grow, Iman.